Welcome, Statehouse Rockers. I'm Kim Robinson, Executive Director of the Illinois Society of Professional Engineers. I wanted to provide a quick update because we're now at the point in the legislative session where many proposed bills have failed to advance and are mostly can be considered dead. This is referred to in shorthand around Springfield as the committee deadline. And it means the point at which legislation is supposed to be reported out of its originating committee. I say these bills are mostly dead because while there are established rules and processes, there are also lots of rules and processes to get around all the rules and processes. It would probably be safe to assume that most of the bills we've been monitoring that did not get out of their originating committees will not advance. Of those that are still working their way through the system, there are several that we consider to be priorities. So let's talk a little bit about what is still out there. ISPE has been working with ACEC on several design build bills that propose to give IDOT and the tollway authority to conduct their projects using a design build delivery system. ISPE and ACEC have offered an amendment that we believe would better protect engineering firms who work on design build teams. It basically sets out specific conditions under which a design firm could be replaced after selection. We heard from colleagues in Texas that this provision has been important for engineering firms there, so we are working to get it added to the Illinois legislation. And while we don't necessarily expect design build for IDOT and the tollway to pass this year, we want to continue working to ensure that the law is fair to engineers whenever it passes. ISP was invited to deliver testimony on this issue before a House committee this week. And in that testimony, we focused on the importance of maintaining the integrity of the engineer's role on a design build team and in ensuring that engineering firms are treated fairly in the procurement process and the project management process. We're also working on a design build for public schools bill. That's House Bill 5593. ISP has long had concerns about the use of design build by school districts, many of which may not have a lot of experience managing design build projects. We're working with the sponsor to make this a pilot program and to ensure that, again, the procurement process will be fair to engineering firms who want to team up on these types of projects. We're continuing to negotiate with the Illinois Municipal League on their proposal to increase the local government qualifications-based selection, QBS, threshold from the current level of $25,000 to their proposed level of $150,000. We're close to being able to settle on something that we would consider more reasonable, possibly around $50,000. I think the remaining issues center around what happens to smaller projects that are under that $50,000 threshold. We certainly don't advocate or believe that the law allows those to be awarded on the basis of a low bid. So even at the smaller level, we want to ensure some element of qualifications-based selection. There are two licensure bills, one which sought to create a seal for interior designers, which are not licensed, and one which sought to establish a professional practice of landscape architecture. Both appear to be dead for this year. ISP opposed both bills primarily because we believe they interfered with the existing practice of engineering as defined in state law. As predicted in an earlier episode of Statehouse Rock, I don't see any momentum building toward a new capital bill for this year. I guess one bright spot is that the governor and legislative leaders appear to have already at least begun discussing the operations budget for the fiscal year that begins July 1st. So hopefully we won't see any of the protracted negotiations and delays on that front for this year. That's all for this episode of Statehouse Rock. Thanks for watching.